Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about a Torchwood novel, Something in the Water, written by Trevor Baxendale. This was published in 2008 as part of the Torchwood novelizations. These are just original books for the series, and they're very stylized in the same way to the Doctor Who novels for the new series, in which you have these big, thick books with a handful of chapters, written in a much more simpler format than your usual book. But this one is still a high grade level for Doctor Who readers. I'm used to, of course, to the quick read novels, which I've tackled on this marathon before. But so this is something a bit more higher up my league, I should say. So if I get characters' names mispronouncing or I get some details wrong, I will apologise because, you know, I'm not usually a huge reader. So you're probably wondering, why the hell I even have this book? Well, you see, technically it's not even mine. It's my ex-partner's and she left it in the house. So I thought, why not put it into the marathon? And also as well, I just wanted to improve my reading, so I thought I'll keep it around and read it around and try it out. I found this a very difficult experience to read, so yeah. Actually, we have talked about a big novel before, Festival of Death, the fourth Doctor story, but this is a Torchwood book. Now, if you go this for the cover and you see Owen on the front and Owen on the side, this will probably lead you to believe this is a Owen story. It's really not. It's more of an ensemble cast, though Owen does have a very vital subplot into the narrative, but it is a subplot. The main focus in terms of the crew is pretty much everyone. Some characters are, of course, more important than others in the narrative. Yanto mostly being the one, you know, who steps back and being the butler character here. So she can get quite a bit to do, and Gwen and Jack. But Yanto does have a big part in it, but it's not his story. It's not his narrative, shall we say. So, I'm struggling to think about things to say about this. Not as bad or anything, you know, I'll get on to that. But the book, the book is 29 chapters long. It's, how many pages are there? Hold on, I should really have done this beforehand. It is 249 pages long. So that should give you a rough idea on what this kind of book is. Now this story is clearly set after To the Last Man, with Toshika having a little segment talking about her experiences with a loved one revolving around the rift, which is obviously implying I can't remember what that character's name was now, but the character is the main focus of that story. So so that gets mentioned, but it's not really played up. It's just like sort of mentioned to be like, right, this story takes place after that. The story also sets up ends on a cliffhanger, which leads into the next novel, which I don't have, so that's kind of awkward. But it's not a big. It's like a little fun, like little teaser, as the characters are like, okay, we're all settled and done. Oh wait, there's something beeping on the screen. Oh wait, I recognise that. Come on, guys, let's go. So if you're interested in getting these novels, I don't know if this is the first. It's not the first novel, but whether it's the first novel in to take place in series 2, because usually I don't know about the Torchwood novels, but I know the BBC Doctor Who new series novels, they usually come in 3s. So I don't know if this is the first one of that. It seems like it because it teases into future narratives. But yeah. Now this story also handles an epidemic. So if anyone's any sensitive to that, because you know the world is, as far as I'm recording this, currently in a huge epidemic. hopefully that's done by the time you've watched this, but if not, then there's like a trigger warning, I should say. So, onto the narrative at hand. The story mainly focuses on this epidemic, but it's mainly the slow build-up. Like I stated, the story is mainly an ensemble class. Now, something I would love Trevor Backender's writing on this is that he is great at capturing the scope of Torchwood. This does feel like an event with, like we rarely see two Torchwood members. We usually keep he usually keeps characters in twos, which makes the story flow a lot easier and allows two characters to go explore one thing, whereas another character goes and explores something. Owen is usually the one who explores things by himself because that's just his character. But and because this is a medical thing, it's Owen who is the medical doctor of the team. His subplot is mainly focused on that. But the story starts off with Jack and Owen trying to chase after a Pacific Weevil. Weevil is a alien in the franchise, which is established as like a B/C grade alien. Like they're not like they're recurring monsters, but they're not like they never really have a story to them, if that makes any sense. They're mainly just something that like writers can shorthand as a threat for certain scenes. And they're looking for a Pacific one of the strongest weevils that they've come across, one they've nicknamed Big Guy. However, when they find it in a old fish farm, they find that something has killed it. Not just killed it, ripped it to shreds. Its guts are all out of its chest, and Jack and Owen suddenly realise that there is a much bigger threat, seemingly has been around for a long time, and that it can move incredibly fast. It seems to be some sort of liquid creature of slime and mud, and now it knows that Torchwood is onto it. And so Jack and Owen basically start to investigate. On the other hand, we have Toshika and Gwen, who are at this cafe and stuff, and then they bump into a character named Professor Len, who turns out he knows Jack, and actually Jack has asked him to go and investigate, he's helped get Torchwood team to help this Professor Len character. And so he takes them to this moss, this place of area which is known for its supernatural stories, specifically one regarding a character called Sally Blackteeth, who takes unsuspected men and tries to mate with them, but if she can't, she kills them and sucks them into the bog. Gwen and Toshika are like, this is completely ridiculous, and Toshika actually falls into some sort of quicksand in it, and covered in just mud and sick and slime. And the description in this story is phenomenal. I really get the images in my head reading with this, with the slime and moss and saliva and the icky and gooey. It does kind of help that the story mainly revolves around that. So, it doesn't really need that much effort to put like a visual style to it, but I do appreciate it for going a little bit beyond than what it could have done, and giving us a little bit more of a visual style to this adventure. Now, Professor Len quickly gets killed because it turns out he's actually working for Sally Blackteeth. And we also get scenes of this character, Bob Strong, which is this incidental character who is a GP. And I like how at the start of it we get this little fun little narrative of him, like he likes his he likes this girl in his work. He doesn't like the secretary. He has this friend who works there, and they talk about like football and stuff. But there's one patient that he has, Asaka Harton. At least that's how I'm pronouncing it. If I get the pronunciation wrong, I do apologise, but Saskiia. I read that as Asaka. I could be wrong. So yeah, Asaka Harton is this character who he's very interested in. We learn that she has had several attempts on her own life, and that somehow she keeps being revived completely unharmed, apparently. And she goes to this GP, and this is apparently the only known information on her, apart from the police report, and they send her to the GP, but her home address turns out to be false, and she's just a very odd and strange character. And right off the bat, she seems to be completely intransignated with Bob Strong. And Bob Strong, who is, he doesn't fancy her, but he has this weird fascination with her because she's just such an odd and bizarre character. She has what the novel describes as a striking appearance, not specifically beautiful, but striking. If she was in a room with a bunch of other women, all the men's heads will turn to her, not necessarily because she's beautiful, but because she has a very on-the-nose appearance. And so he does actually kind of question it, but his professional pride gets the better of him, and he says, like, sorry, this is unprofessional, I can't do this. And then the story slowly has Bob Strong getting sick, getting ill, and he starts coughing, he starts wheezing, and he goes off sick, and throughout half the story, it's mainly just him crouching up and just being extremely sick. We hear scenes of him on the phone with his mother, who learns about this pandemic that's been going around in South Wales and South England, and there's a bit where he's collapsed onto his floor. His mother's trying to call him on the phone messenger service, but he's too weak to even pick it up, and he constantly thinking, it's like, right, this is the day I'm gonna die, essentially. This is thing, and he's constantly coughing and choking. Whilst back in the Torchwood hub, Toshika, when she was in the mosque, when she came out, she was actually seems to have released a skeletal body, or at least a corpse that has been there, what is described as being there for 40 years, and has basically, his body's been decayed. However, we get a very striking scene in which it turns out that person, this corpse, this person who's got skeletal features, who's been down there for 40 years, he's still technically alive. And that really freaked me out the first time I read this. The way it's described, the way this thing, which is just clearly like the idea of becoming like a zombie, but not even like it's it's your sentient form, and like they say, like the thorax has been so decayed he can't get any words out. He grabs onto Gwen and tries to whisper something in its ear, and it's only until after replaying it and using some of Toshika's technology to lip sync it with what they believe would be the actual words, do they realise that this thing was actually trying to warn them of a water hag. And it spluts out all this slime and stuff after this creature seemingly comes out of its throat, and this child, this humanoid child made out of slime and seemingly decayed vegetable matter comes out, to which Owen promptly shoots in the head, which is a very dark and serious scene, but I found that pretty funny. And there's some really great the emotional baggage in this story. The the idea of the rift tearing thing, like I mentioned before, is brought up that Toshika feels that this could be a repeat of the previous adventure, even though, like I stated, that's only like one scene. The torture team have a little bit of a debate because Owen shot this creature without first trying to understand it, like he saw it and he thought that everybody else might have given it the benefit of the doubt because it looks like a human baby, but he knows that it is, at least he suspects that it is an alien threat, and so he promptly shoots it and everyone gets angry at him. So he steps out and it's Gwen and has to kind of talk him into coming into back. But as we learn, something seems to be going wrong. Owen, he tries to look up these databases on water and stuff because they're slowly learning that this creature is revealed to be something of a water entity, and it's here using the police database that they learn about Asaka Harton. Owen trying to get some information about her, tries to contact the GP, tries to contact then Bob Strong, and discovers how ill he is, and Owen at this moment is caught between his loyalty to his job and Bob Strong's health, because he is a doctor. He sees that ill man and he desperately tries to fix him, and when he goes back to the torture hub trying to find some medication for Bob Strong, the torture team are like, okay, he's ill, but it's not really Torchwood's concern at the moment. Our main concern is this water creature, this alien thing. What are they? Is it killing people? And this creature, the creature that they're tracing with Big Guy. And I like there's a little bit of conflict there, but I feel like it ties up a little bit too quickly. Like, of course, the narratives do connect into each other, and it turns out it's all connected. But I feel like there isn't enough time. Like, it splits off a little bit and comes back, and then it's like, oh yeah, Bob Strong and everyone. That's this whole pandemic is connected with the water hags that we are trying to chase down, that we are trying to tackle down, which kind of makes the narrative a bit more tighter in a way, because now we don't have to focus about like the team splitting up and trying to get back together, and it is mainly for the plot convenience. It is a lot better, but in terms of character, I don't feel like we got enough of this debate to tie it up in the way that the story kind of does. And tie it up into means as in tying these plot lines together, not as in finishing it off. So the torture teams start to get really sick. Mainly Toshika and Owen, who start having this absolutely terrible pain in their throat, and Yanto and Gwen also suffer it, and usually Jack doesn't get the cold, he doesn't get any sort of disease. However, for probably one of the first times in his life since being resurrected by Rose, he gets ill. He gets really ill. His throat starts to swell up and is burning. Toshika actually locks herself down to try and find a cure, or try and find out at least what the hell this is. As Owens, his medical intuition has failed him. He thought it was some sort of illness, some sort of disease, some sort of virus. But there's nothing in Bob Strong's DNA to indicate that that is the case. According to his blood, according to everything that Owen has picked up, he should be perfectly healthy. So why is he extremely sick? Why is he coughing up phlegm? Why is he so much in pain? And Owen, they try and work this thing out, and they go back to Bob Strong's house to try and find out more information. However, Asaka Harton has actually gotten to him first, and it turns out that she is the epicenter. She is Sally Blackteeth, and that this isn't really a virus, it's a pregnancy. This creature opens this slime thing, the baby thing that we've seen earlier on, comes out of Bob Strong's mouth after the torture team come in and find what they thought was Bob Strong's dead body, but he quickly gets revived only for this thing to come out of his mouth and kill Bob Strong dead. And it's here that they see Saka Harton holding the baby, which ages rapidly. And so they quickly learn that this virus, in a sense, basically impregnates people and uses the human form to release this newfound creature. Now, the story then has this little scene in which the torture team try to go back into the hub, but Gwen actually finds Saka Harton and chases after her and has this little debate, a little discussion, as an army of water hags are surrounding her. And we kind of then learn a little bit of the backstory of this water hag. Sally Blackteeth, or Saka Harton, she actually appeared many centuries ago and was living in hiding, slowly building up this experiment on human DNA. When she grabs all these men and sends them down to the bog, not only does she try to, of course, have their babies, but she's also been experimenting on them, shall we say. And this is how now all of a sudden this invasion, this virus has taken place, because the torture team have basically forced her hand to activate her plans as soon as possible. So this virus, the pregnancy, only affects the men. The women will get healthier and will recover, but with men, without a vaccine, which Toshika invents, will give birth, will die and create these horrible things coming out of their mouths and creating these more water hags. Now, as for why she's doing it, we learn that she used to travel through the rift, through the gap in space and time, which led her into Cardiff. And she once tried to get back to her home planet, only to find that her home planet has completely disappeared. I had to focus on this because this is actually an important segment into the canonical canon of Doctor Who at this time. This story takes place in Tortured Series 2, which ties into, it's around about the same time as Series 4 of the revived series, David Tennant's third series. And I don't know if this planet is actually mentioned in that story. I'll have to do my research. But according to the Wikipedia, Sally Blackteeth's planet is one of the missing planets, which gets later discovered in the three-parter Turn Left, Stolen Earth, and Journey's End. So that's interesting that a novel to a spin-off ties into the main finale of one of the biggest finales of the series. So that's really cool. I actually really like that, because you don't need to know that to enjoy the story. We all understand the idea of somebody trying to get back home but can't. In fact, their home planet is destroyed, and that they want to conquer Earth because, they don't have any home anymore. And so, and we think, so we don't need to know the Stolen Earth connection. It's not really focused on here. She just says, my planet's missing, I'm taking over Earth. But, according to the larger canon, this could be one of the missing planets, which is the running story arc of Series 4. Now let's talk about Sally Blackteeth, because she is, of course, the main villain of this narrative. And she is a bit on the dull side, if I have to say so. She starts off a really great character interesting character, I should say, when we don't really know what the hell her deal is. She clearly has this kind of aura around her, and I love the way Trevor Baxendale writes for her, and we get this really great, glorious feeling about her and how she is this mysterious figure. And I also like how at the earlier elements of the novel, when she is the water hag, the viciousness of her really comes into fruition. There's a great scene in which Jack and Gwen chase her to a pond where they find this dog and a dog walker, and she just rips the dog's head off and rips the walker, kills the walker just entirely, and grabs and has this battle to Jack, and it's really vicious, and it's really like does really put you in the feeling of a genuine threat. However, when we get into the second half of the novel, and we starting to learn what she's doing, what her plan is, and this whole her invasion and idea, I feel like it does become a bit generic. Like I said, her main plan is to take over Earth because her home planet's gone. But the story never, for once, tries to put us in her view of that. It's, haha, I have no planet, I can't go back, so I'll just invade Earth. You're slimy, you stupid people, you weak individuals. I am superior to you. Where I felt like, with how it was setting up, how basically, as far at the moment, she's only killed in self-defense, as far as we're concerned, and has only killed when producing her offspring. We could have had a much more sympathetic character, but instead we end this narrative on a character who is like a very vicious, non-caring character. Does that make any sense? I don't know, but I felt like Sally Blackteeth was, she's a great threat, don't get me wrong. She puts all the torture teams on the back of the wall, as basically everyone is suffocating, everyone is dying, and there's scenes in which characters can have like a clear shot, clear visual, it's like, right, we can easily stop it, but because they've got this illness which Sally Blackteeth has given them, they can't focus, they can't think, and they collapse and they feel really weak, and we get some really intense moments with that. But in terms of Sally Blackteeth as a character, and as a novel like this, which can spend a lot more time on its characters and really can put like in a massive spin on characters here, I feel like there was a massive missed opportunity here to make Sally Blackteeth, to understand her point of view. Maybe she should have had a chapter all to herself, just explaining her thought process, just, why, like, what put her towards this, like, the idea of reproducing, using humans, just a way to, like, the way that you give birth kills humans, but you have no choice because, your planet's gone. How are you gonna survive on your own? And that is a very interesting concept, but we don't really delve into that. It's mainly, the story is mainly focused on the main Torchwood team, which is great, it's good. I just wish, with the time that we've spent with this novel, I feel like we could have gotten a lot more with Sally Blackteeth, if that makes any sense. And so, Toshika actually injects Jack and Yanto and Owen with this, with their own basically vaccine, in which it has female hormones, which will make the creature spit out a lot quicker. And so we have this really epic scene, which kind of puts the idea of this story being an event, something I do like these novels for, rather than the new series televised stories, is that the televised episodes, both in Doctor Who and Torchwood, can sometimes be a bit too small, a bit too short, and stories which could have been like their own massive event and their own, like they feel like their own story, feels more compacted and compressed in their narratives. And with these novels, you do generally get the feeling like, you know, this is an event for each story. So that's really cool. And this story does take a massive, takes that to consideration, as the final battle has Yanto and Owen basically using machine guns on an army of water hags on Cardiff Bay. Like, that's something that the TV show wouldn't do unless it's like a series finale. But this novel does it, so that's really cool. Like I said, the desperation in the story really is well written, well impacted. Like, our characters aren't actually completely cured yet. They feel incredibly weak. As the story states, Owen is actually leaning on the wall, trying his best to gain his strength as he's shooting down. However, there is a very strange pacing moment when Gwen goes chasing after Jack and Sally Blackteeth, or Saka Harton. They turn out to be the same character. They go missing, and then the way the scene is described, Yanto and Owen just somehow past the water hags, despite them being like thousands of them, and the fact that they don't seem to die, they just get back up. So, like, they just appeared right where Gwen was, who had to like navigate her way away from the water hags. I felt like that was a bit of a strange plot element. And so the tortured team listened to Toshika, who's back at the hub, finds out that something is happening to the rift. Something's coming through. And it's very strange because they don't put together, like, something comes out of it. And they do click. It's like, hold on. Sally Blackteeth is supposed to be the last of her species. That's what she says. And you know, all of the water hags that she created are from Earth. So what is coming out of the rift? What's coming out of the pillar which stands in the Torchwood hub? And they make that realization, but nobody actually thinks, it's like, right, if it's coming from the hub, it can't be from Earth. So she might not be the last. The planet might have survived, and they might come back here to try and be like, hey, Sally Blackteeth, can you stop it? You can come back home now. But nobody actually makes that connection, because that is not what actually happens. It turns out that somehow Sally Blackteeth has connected herself to the rift down in the sea, and Jack's chasing her, and somehow they open a bit of the rift, so they teleport basically into the hub, which is like, if she could have done that, why is she trying to take down the torture team? She's there to try, because she wanted Gwen alive, because Gwen has access to the tortured hub, and so she wants to get to the rift to try and open this energy stuff so that she can have more energy from her home planet, like the residual energy of her planet to strengthen. But it's also, she can teleport through the rift into the hub. That's a bit of a strange plot hole. But it does lead into a very epic scene of Jack and Sally basically fighting as they're materializing in the tortured hub, and we get this really well-descripted battle as the tortured team basically rip her apart. And because she was she's connected to all of her children, when she dies, everyone who is suffering from this illness, I don't know if they suddenly get cured, or because that's the way it's described, but they also describe that there is a vaccine going to everybody with the stuff that Torchwood and Toshika has put into a vaccine. So maybe that was just like a precaution, just in case somehow some of them do survive. I don't know. But the way the story describes it is like she's all connected and killing her will cure everyone. And so everyone starts feeling a lot better, a lot better. And the final chapter is actually, there's just this sweet moment of all the characters reflecting on their moments. Everybody's recovering. Jack just seems to be completely healed at this point. And like I said, it ties into the next novel in which characters basically describe like what's going on, and it's like, right, something's happened, we're on our way. The torture team are banding back together, so that leads into that. So there you go, that's Something in the Water. Overall, I feel like this is a pretty good novel. It feels very eventful, a lot happens, there's a lot of great descriptions, a lot of great narrative flow, and the interactions with our characters and how expansive the narrative is really feels like great world building. However, I don't think it's perfect. As I stated, I feel like Sally Blackteeth is a very missed opportunity for a really great sympathetic villain. I feel like there are some plot elements that needed to have a little bit more time focused to them, especially how, this is a novel-length story, and there should have been everything we got. We could have cut down on other scenes to focus on other narratives. So, though I don't think it's a pacing issue. The scenes that we need are there. It's more the flow, if that makes any sense. The waves, how much each narrative gets focused on, seems a bit off, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. I doubt it'll be anyone's favourites, but it's pretty good, it's pretty fun, and like I said, it does deal with an epidemic, which some people might be a bit sensitive to, so keep that in mind, but overall, really enjoyed, great fun. So join me next time where we'll be going back to the TV series, or one of the most popular Torchwood episodes in the show's history. And I've never actually seen it, so I actually don't know what I'm in for. So join me next time for Meet, and I'll see you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon. Ta-da!